I want to talk to you today about living life as a healer. Everywhere we go, there are people in need. They may smile on the outside, but on the inside, they're hurting. We all have a ministry. It may not be in the pulpit, but God is counting on us to reach out to others and bring healing wherever we go. When you see someone that's down and you go over and encourage them, you just became a healer. You just released God's goodness into them. When you call a friend that's discouraged and you say, hey, I'm thinking about you. I know there are good days up ahead. You just poured in the healing oil. It can be something simple. Just smiling at a stranger. You don't even know that person. You didn't think much about it, but you became a healer. God caused your smile to say to them, you're important. I care about you. All around us, people are dealing with family issues, health problems, rejection, broken dreams, low self-esteem. You never know what they're going through. God wants to heal, but He uses people. My message is you can become a healer. A man stopped me on a busy sidewalk not long ago, and he was dressed very nice, looked like he was on top of the world. But behind this outer facade, he was in so much pain. He and his wife had just gotten separated. He was so discouraged. He said, Joel, I don't have any reason to live anymore. He sobbed and sobbed like a baby. My coat was wet with his tears. I didn't have all the answers. I couldn't fix everything in 2 minutes on a busy sidewalk, but I could pour in some healing oil. I could offer some words of encouragement. I told him, God has you in the palm of His hand. Us meeting here is not an accident. That's God's way of saying everything is going to be all right. After we prayed, he noticed how wet my suit was with his tears, and he was embarrassed. He said, oh, Joel, it looks like I've ruined your jacket. But really, those tears were like having a trophy. You're never more like God than when you're helping hurting people. And one of our assignments in life is to help wipe away the tears. Are you sensitive to the needs of those around you, your friends, your neighbors, your co-workers? Many times, like this man, behind the nice clothes, behind the pretty smile, behind the Sunday praise, there's a person that's hurting. They're alone. Their life's in turmoil. They don't know what they're going to do. Reach out to them. Be a healer. Be a restorer. Take time to wipe away the tears. Friends, our job is not to judge. Our job is not to figure out if they deserve it or not. Who's right? Who's wrong? No, our job is to lift the fallen, to restore the broken, to heal the hurting. Too often, we get focused on our own goals, our own dreams, and how we can get our miracle. But I've learned something more important. I can become someone's miracle. There is healing in your hands. There's healing in your voice. You are a container that is filled with God. Right now, you are full of encouragement, full of mercy, full of restoration, full of healing. And everywhere we go, we should dispense the goodness of God. If you get around me, you better get ready. You're going to be encouraged. You may have made mistakes, but I'm going to tell you, God's mercy is bigger than any mistake you've made. You may have wasted years of your life making poor choices, but I'm going to tell you, God still has a way to get you to your final destination. You may have had that addiction since you were a teenager, but I'm going to let you know the power of the Most High God can break any addiction and set you free. That's what it means to dispense good. You lift the fallen. You encourage the discouraged. You take time to wipe away the tears. Many times we're so caught up in our own dreams and so focused on our own goals, we don't see the needs of those around us. We've got to learn to take time to care. Listen to what people are saying. Look beneath the surface. That person next to you at work, when you see they're down and discouraged, don't think, what's their problem? They sure are unfriendly today. I'm not going to talk to them. No, turn it around. Have the attitude, I have what they need. I'm a healer. I'm going to encourage them. I'm going to lift their spirits. I'm going to see if there's something I can pray with them about. That's living life as a healer. I was at the grocery store not long ago, and there were 8 or 9 people in line in front of me waiting to check out. And the lady that was working the cash register was very slow. One item didn't have a price on it, and we had to wait and wait, and then she overcharged someone, and the supervisor had to come and correct it. And the people in front of me were getting so frustrated. By the time they got up there to check out, they had had it. They were cold and just real matter of fact, some of them even rude to the young lady. And she was doing the best that she could. She was just frustrated and nothing was going her way. I had to make a decision. Am I going to be a part of the problem or a part of the solution? Am I going to just dump more frustration and make her life more miserable like everybody else? Or am I going to live life as a healer? And since I'm a pastor and I thought she might know me, I decided to do the last. When I got up there, I smiled real big and I said, you know what? I think you are doing a great job. And these people, I know they're kind of rude and impatient, but don't let it bother you. I can tell you're doing your very best. Do you know, she started weeping. I thought, dear Lord, what did I do now? You thought the line was long before, now it's going to be really long? I said, what's wrong? She said, Joel, my little boy is in the hospital. I am so worried I can't even concentrate on what I'm doing here. Friends, usually there's a good reason why somebody's not up to par. There's a reason why they're worried and frustrated. We can't see what's going on behind the scenes. You can't see their personal life, the heartache and pain that they push down. And now they're doing everything they can to just try to keep it together. The last thing they need is for somebody else to come dump another load on them. And I've learned that God puts people in our path on purpose so we can love them back into wholeness. That person that has an addiction in your life, they're not there for you to criticize. God put them there so you can help them overcome it. That student at the school that doesn't have any friends, everybody makes fun of them, God put them there so you can make them feel accepted, so you can make them feel loved. Or that neighbor that's dug himself into a pit. Instead of thinking, I told him, I tried to warn him, he brought it on himself, he's getting what he deserves. No, he's in your life by divine appointment. God is expecting you to lift him out of that pit. God's counting on you to be a voice of hope and encouragement, not judgment and condemnation. Proverbs 15:4 says, a gentle tongue brings healing. It's amazing what happens when you tell someone, everything is going to be all right. You're going to make it. There are good days up ahead. That's all some people need to hear. You don't have to preach a sermon. You don't have to quote 25 scriptures or counsel them for 8 hours. Just a few kind words can start the healing process. And right there at the cash register, in the middle of the grocery store, I asked her if we could pray. We prayed together, and now the line was really long. The supervisor came over, and when he saw her crying, he looked at me like, what have you done to my employee? She said, no, I haven't felt this much peace in years. What happened? I became someone's miracle. When you reach out to people in need, you are kind, loving, merciful, understanding. You are sowing seeds for God to do the same thing for you. When you make a mistake, or your children or grandchildren get off course and they need mercy, because you're living life as a healer, God will make sure someone will always be there for them. And friends, there's already enough condemning voices. There's already enough critical, fault-finding people. Let's break out of that rut. Our attitude should be, I'm going to live my life as a healer. I'm not looking for somebody that's done wrong so I can push them further down. I'm looking for somebody that's fallen so I can lift up. I'm looking for someone that made a mistake so I can help restore. Someone that's hurting so I can love them back into wholeness. And that doesn't mean that we overlook wrongs and act like that it never happened. But we understand if it were not for the grace of God, that could be us. When you show mercy to the guilty, when you encourage the discouraged, when you lift people up when everyone else is pushing them down, that touches the heart of God in a very special way. I know as a parent, it's one thing to do me a favor. I would appreciate that. I would thank you. But if one of my children were in need and you helped them, if my son made a mistake and you showed him mercy, If my daughter was hurting and you helped heal that pain, then as a parent, there's nothing in the world I wouldn't do for you. It's the same way with God. When you make it your business to help His children, His sons, His daughters, and you go around wiping away the tears, lifting the fallen, pouring the healing oil on the wounded, when you live life like that, you might as well get ready. You will not be able to outrun the goodness of God.